Today we're going to be talking about our fight, flight, freeze response, our body's natural response to danger and threats. It's a stress response that kicks in to keep us safe, a survival mechanism to perceive threats, which happens when we believe we're in danger, being threatened, or even being asked to do more than we feel we've got the resources to cope with. And the fight, flight, freeze response isn't a conscious decision, it's an automatic reaction. It instantly causes hormonal and physiological changes which allow you to act quickly, preparing you to fight an enemy, run away from danger, or to hide from a predator. And you know what's really interesting? It's not just triggered by real things actually happening to us, it's also triggered by the way we think about situations and events in our lives. Our imagination is so powerful. It can be triggered by negative thinking, worrying about potential threats, or ruminating on things that have happened to us in the past, or even that thought of standing up to give a presentation or a speech really can trigger those same responses too. So in this video, I'm going to explain what the fight, flight, freeze response is, why it's hard to turn off sometimes and gets in the way of enjoying life, so you'll learn what you can do to take back control and calm things down. And if you're new here, I'm Andrew Major, clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist. I make videos about anxiety, depression and mental health resources that can help you build a stronger mind and build better mental health. So let's get started. So what's happening in the brain during the fight, flight, freeze response? Well, there's a lot happening very fast. First of all, we lose some access to our rational thinking part of our brain, or our intellectual brain. Because it's too slow when there's danger all around, we need to be reactive and really instinctive. We don't need to spend time thinking about our options or considering our options, because if we find ourselves faced with a tiger, for example, we need to escape that really quickly. Now, the same thing happens when it's time to give that speech or that presentation, of course. Sometimes your mind goes blank and you can't think of the right words or even remember your script. So in these instances, we lose intellectual control and our primitive emotional part of our brain in the limbic system takes over to keep us safe. That's the part that's responsible for a lot of your automatic and emotional reactions. And at the center of the primitive brain is our amygdala. And that's scared of everything. And I always refer to that as our security guard. And it's closely associated with two other very primitive parts, the hippocampus, which holds all of our memories and sometimes inappropriate behaviors and experiences, and the hypothalamus, which regulates all the chemicals in our body and brain, such as a release of cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones into the bloodstream. And this response stimulates the autonomic nervous system. And there's two parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. Now, the sympathetic nervous system triggers a fight or flight response, while the parasympathetic nervous system controls your body's rest systems, or freezing in this case. Now, how you react depends on which system dominates the response at the time. If you're faced with imminent danger, your brain prepares your body to fight, flight and freeze. It ramps up those systems that will help you escape the danger or the threat in front of you. So the brain starts to send messages to your nervous system, and so your body starts pumping up adrenaline. And adrenaline is a stress hormone that makes your heart beat faster, and that really helps you get more blood to your muscles, your lungs and your brain, getting you ready to react more quickly, run away or defend yourself if needed. Your pulse rate and your blood pressure rises, you breathe quicker, and the airways in your lungs open up so you can take in more oxygen. That way, extra oxygen can get to the brain to make you more alert. All of this happens automatically before the message reaches your thinking brain, before you're even consciously aware there's a problem. Now, if that danger persists or the perceived threats continue, your body produces another stress hormone, cortisol. And that keeps you alert in a heightened state of stress. So adrenaline helps you with running away from danger, and it's the cortisol that keeps you running. Your senses are affected too. Your eyes, your peripheral vision increases to help you take in more of the surroundings, even dilating pupils to let in more light to help you see better. And your hearing even becomes sharper too. So how does this all affect you physically? Now, the other thing which happens in your fight, flight, freeze response is it also shuts down the systems which are not immediately needed in a time of crisis and danger, like your digestive system, your immune system, or your reproductive system. That's why so many people that are always anxious and continually stressed always have issues with their digestive system like IBS or colitis. It also explains why people that are continually stressed seem to get sick more easily, and that's because their immune system is compromised and they can't fight off infections as easily. Now, back in primitive times, it just wouldn't have been practical to bring a vulnerable new baby into the tribe when it's under threat. The baby and the mother would really slow things down for the tribe, and if they needed to move quickly, that would really be a burden. So our bodies are designed to shut down our reproductive system. So when we're stressed, we may become infertile, be unable to perform, or just plain don't feel like it. The fight, flight, freeze response also encourages you to see things from the worst possible perspective to help you survive. Seeing a dangerous animal and being optimistic, hoping it's already eaten, isn't going to do you any favours. So instead, you might find yourself worrying or imagining all the worst outcomes so you can plan your escape or attack. But all these responses are entirely appropriate. And if you're faced with danger, your fight, flight, freeze response will really help you out. So how do we calm down the fight, flight, freeze response? In life, anxiety and stress can build up very gradually. And when this happens, we lose some access to our thinking brain, our intellectual control, and our primitive emotional part of our brain assumes more and more responsibility for the way we think, the way we feel, and even the way that we behave. And then we're unable to really get a proper perspective on the situations we find ourselves in, whether that's work, social situations, our relationships, or even thinking about our finances. Your amygdala is really working overtime, and the slightest thing sets us off. So understanding your body's natural defense mechanism is really essential in taking control. And by learning how to recognize and manage this response really calms things down. Now, there are lots of techniques that you can use when you notice it happening, when you need to calm things down, such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and exercise. These things can really help your body relax, allowing your amygdala to calm down, which helps you regain intellectual control, and you begin to see your situation in a clear-headed sort of way, while strengthening the more positive responses to everyday situations. Now we've looked at what's happening, this knowledge is really going to help you recognize which part of your brain has control. So here's a quick summary of what to look out for. Now, if your fight, flight, freeze system is switched on, you're likely to feel on edge, worried, unable to relax. It might even be really hard to get to sleep, or you may find yourself waking up during the night too. And you might even have some physical symptoms like a painful or tight chest, maybe your stomach's churning, perhaps you even feel a bit shaky, or maybe you feel unable to think straight. Therefore, you might even find it hard to concentrate and unable to make really simple decisions. So you may even feel a bit unmotivated too. Now, these are all really sure signs that your primitive emotional brain is in control. Now, if you're operating from your thinking intellectual brain, you're likely to feel calm and in control, ready to start your day feeling nicely focused about what needs to be done. You probably would have slept well too, and your body feels relaxed. You have a clear head and you feel motivated to get on and do the things that you need to do. And if a problem or a challenge crops up, you take it in your stride. You find those solutions. These are all sure signs that you're operating from your thinking intellectual brain. You see, there are two ways of looking at life: from your rational, calm, thinking intellectual brain, or from your emotional, fearful, primitive brain. And if you find yourself in the grip of fight, flight, freeze, focusing on relaxation is the first step to calming the nervous system down, helping you to do more in your life from your intellectual brain. And as you do, you will feel more positive, your reactions will be better, and your thoughts will be more positive too. And this means you'll begin to enjoy life a little bit more in a calm, relaxed, rational way, and that helps increase your resilience too. In my clinical practice, I use a combination of solution-focused talking therapy with hypnosis, and that helps clients that are suffering with anxiety and stress recover, calm things down, and regain control back over their lives. You can visit my website for support and resources and access one-to-one therapy. But for now, here's a couple of videos I made that can help you calm down your fight, flight, freeze response if you need to relax things right now.